Welcome back to the Black Spruce Fiber Podcast. I'm Allie. I'm here with my dog Darwin. And today's episode is going to be all about our recent trip to Maine. I went to Maine with my partner and my parents and Darwin and my parents' dog, and we actually had my brother's dog with us too. We had a great trip, and I wanted to share some of the knitting I did and some of the yarn that I purchased. I do have some finished objects and other things, but I think I'm gonna save those for another episode and do maybe like a styling my knits type episode or something. So I'm still kind of trying to figure out what type of video I like to make. So hopefully this is interesting to you. At the end of the video, there's going to be a little bit of vlog footage of the beaches that we explored and some of the adventures that Chris and I went on. So without further ado, I'll get into the knitting. This is the project that I started when I was there, and it's thematically appropriate. I'm calling this my seaweed socks, and I'll explain why when I show it to you. I'm knitting this on Chiagu Twist interchangeable needles, which are really great for socks because you can use it to do like 9-inch circular needles for socks and just go around, but you can also change it out if you need to for the heel, which I really like. I really like Chiagu needles also. But it's tangled. Here's the first sock that I've started, and I'm calling these the seaweed socks for two reasons. The yarn is Big Little Yarn Company. I think the dyer's name is Mel. She is Japanese, and she had like these special bento box sets, and this one was called onigiri, which is, onigiri look like this, and they're a Japanese seaweed snack. It's like rice wrapped with seaweed, usually with filling. So Chris got me the set. It came with sock yarn, a corresponding tonal, mini. It came packaged really cute. I opened it in January, so I don't have a picture of the packaging, but it had like a reusable utensil set, and then also this progress keeper and little stitch markers that look like this. There's a bunch of them, but I just have one. And so this color is called, here I have it with me. The main color is called onigiri, which is the rice wrapped with seaweed, and then nori, which is seaweed, is this corresponding tonal. So it's a superwash yarn. I love the dyeing, and I love the way that it's knitting up. The pattern is called Mermaid Avenue. It's by, I think, Summer Lee Design Company. And Mermaid Avenue is actually a music album written by Woody Guthrie, but performed by Billy Bragg and Wilco. I loved it when I was younger. But it's like a mermaid scale pattern. So onigiri socks, mermaid pattern, they're my seaweed socks. So this was like a fun beach knitting project. This is a woolen forest progress keeper that I liked how it looked. I usually knit vanilla socks. I don't often knit socks with a pattern, and I really like these because it was really easy to memorize. So I just turned the heel, and I'm working on the gusset. They're great TV knitting, and they're really fun, and I'm excited to wear them. I will say, this stitch pattern is tight, so I actually cast on more stitches than I normally would. I knit a size large because I have sort of big feet. So this is 84 stitches. Oh, sorry about that. I got a phone call. I'm back. So this is 84 stitches on size 1. Normally I would do 72 because again, I kind of have big feet. But I've tried them on and I think it's going to fit really nicely. So that's, I think, all I have to say about these socks. I will, of course, link the pattern. I really recommend them if you're looking for a slightly more interesting than vanilla, but not super complicated sock. And definitely also check out Big Little Yarn Company. She's an incredible dyer. So, and I really love that a lot of her hand-dyed yarn is related to Japanese culture. It's so cool. So yeah, I also realized now I didn't mention this bag. Oops. This bag is from Republica Unicornia. and it's got sweet little birds, and I love the shape, the pyramid shape. It is perfect for sock projects. So, put this back in. I'm going to talk about some purchases I made. I know I said I wasn't going to buy more yarn, but the Vermont Sheep and Wool Festival was canceled because of the pandemic. So I did buy some yarn. I'm gonna grab this. The yarn that I bought is in this beautiful handmade basket that my mom very graciously bought for me while we were in Maine. It's made by a woman named Dot, and I will try to link her. I'm gonna take out this yarn because this one is different. But first, I'm going to talk about this very, very special yarn. This yarn is made by Starcroft Fiber Company, and it's called Nash Island Tide. It's made from the wool of wild sheep. There's an island called Nash Island, and there's a flock of wild sheep. They're the descendants. There's a lighthouse on an island right next to it. The lighthouse keeper's daughter kept sheep 100 years ago, and their descendants have gone wild. And once a year, people show up to shear the sheep and then make yarn out of it. I'm gonna link to some articles about it because it's fascinating. I went to this wonderful store called Clementine. It's a fabric store in Rockland, Maine. I did buy some fabric, but I'm not going to show that right now. But this is the only type of yarn that they sell. And it turns out that the woman who owns the store, her mother actually makes this yarn. So they shear the sheep, they go through the yarn. She gets it milled. Some of it's milled in Maine. Some of it, I believe this one's actually milled at the Green Mountain Spinnery, which is here in Vermont. But so it's milled locally, and then the woman who owns it dyes the yarn. And I got enough for a sweater, and I'll talk about the sweater I'm gonna knit in a second. This is Tide, which is about a sport weight. I think this is actually sort of the slightly rougher fiber I read. I think that the softest fiber goes for hand spinning, and then they make some of it into worsted. And then they make some of it into Nash Island Tide, which is the sport weight. But it's, it's really, to me, it really doesn't feel that scratchy. And this is specifically for color work. So I got 3 colors. I got this mushroom color, which is called Seal. I got this light gray blue kind of color called Driftwood. And then this like almost undyed white color called Barnacle. So these are going to be a color work. The mushroomy color Seal is going to be the main color, and then these 2 will be for the color work. And to me, this yarn is so special because it's just so local, and the colors were amazing. I almost wanted to buy some of the light worsted, but I already had picked out a pattern, so I did get this one. I'll show you the pattern. I was using the book to prop up the magazine because I actually had to order Rowan magazine. I'm gonna knit a Marie Wallen pattern. I also want to say I know that everything's reversed. It's because I like to have my camera reversed. I don't know about you, but sometimes when I see it flipped, it gives me like an existential crisis. So this is the only way the podcast will get made. But Rowan magazine. It's a Marie Wallen pattern. It wasn't available online, so I did buy the whole magazine, which is okay because I think there's a couple other patterns I think I might like to knit. This isn't the one I'm gonna make, but this is my other favorite pattern. There's some really nice cable patterns. Like I love this one. So this might be a possibility for the future. But the one I'm gonna knit with this special yarn from Wild Sheep is called Thumber. It's Marie Wallen, so I may actually enter it into, I saw that there's a Marie Wallen knit along going on. I know that Knitting with Kat Harris, one of the podcasters who's hosting it, among others. But so it's called Thumber, and I just really fell in love, and I couldn't find any other pattern I wanted to knit. So it will be the mushroom, the barnacle, the seal mushroom will be this, barnacle, the white, and then the gray. And you can't really see, I'm gonna change the neck just to make it more of kind of, like a ribbed neckline, but I'm just so excited to eventually cast this on. I think it will be really beautiful in these colors, and they just sort of glow. I'm really passionate these days, and I've spoken a little bit about this, but about finding non-superwash wool yarn, especially local yarn. And I love, this doesn't say what type of sheep, it just says 100% wild Maine Island wool. And I just like, it's so cool. So, and it feels bouncy and lovely, definitely more rustic, but just lovely. And I can't wait to knit with it. That pattern is knit in like Rowan felted tweed, which is a DK weight yarn, but I checked and the yards per gram was really similar. So I think that this will work. I might have to mess with the gauge a little bit. But so yeah, that's the first yarn I got. I went to the store knowing that I wanted to buy this, and the woman was so kind, and she was talking about her mother who makes it. So it was like a wonderful experience. I did also get some roving that I might try to dye and then spin. I'm a little nervous because I've never dyed roving. But I will talk about that. Maybe I'll do a spinning episode at some point in time too. I don't know. I wasn't gonna buy any more yarn, but Chris and I went to Damariscotta, Maine. We were walking around before we went sea kayaking, and I was like, oh, I just want to stop in this yarn store. I'm not gonna get anything. But the woman there was the yarn dyer for Sheepscott Harbor yarns, and she had this like gorgeous indigo dyed yarn, all different shades of blue, and I really wanted some. So she, I believe, and I'll link to her website because it's amazing, she, I think, sources this yarn also from Maine and then gets it milled in Maine and then dyes it mostly with indigo. And I picked up 2 skeins of the color Blue Buoy, which I think looks like it might be also maybe a DK weight. It's definitely milled differently. I would say it's softer than the Nash Island, and you can just tell that they're like, the milling is different. They're for a different purpose. But this will probably be a hat for Chris. Whenever I want yarn and I'm like, I don't know, it turns into a hat for Chris. So she was so nice. I mean, I love the blues. I think Blue Buoy, the nautical themes are so cute. Kettle dyed indigo from Maine. So this is 160 yards each. So I bought it, and it's this kind of like, I mean, it's azure, but then in some places it's lighter. It's just tonal and lovely. So I'm really excited to make something with it. Yeah, and I guess my pursuit of wonderful, interesting local yarns continues. So I hope you enjoyed hearing a little bit about what I worked on and what I picked up while I was in Maine. And now, if you would like to, you can stick around and watch some of our footage. We went to the Coastal Maine Botanical Gardens with friends, but I had so much fun that I honestly forgot to film beyond this like one little clip. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope to see you again. Take care, and I'll see you next time. So we are sea kayaking. We're in a cove, so it's not too wavy. We are kind of lost. We'll see. We're supposed to end up at an island. We'll see what happens. No. So we made it to the island. So I think we are going to dock.